being recorded. Thank you. Officers and bid infrastructure combined meeting on June 26, 2025. David, would you do roll call, please? Of your committee and the officers.
Yes. Dennis Burrows.
Here.
Maureen Deviger. Richard Handlesmith. Here. Lou Harris.
Here.
Duke Horton. John Timmerman.
Here.
Joanne Robin.
Here.
Tony Burrows.
Here.
David Bowes. Barry Fitzpatrick. Andrew. Bruce Stutzman.
Yes, sir.
Peter Richland.
Here.
Patricia Caputo.
Here.
Fausto Fabio.
Here.
We do have a committee forum. Also Donald Foster is in attendance.
Who doesn't have one? Me.
You should have two.
That's one.
No one.
There'll be two. One says bids and infrastructure, the other one says officers. That's why I asked them two at a time.
Hold on.
That's what I'm gonna pass Shenandoah the other direction.
Yep, that sounds good. Read the top. One says officer, the other one says bids and infrastructure.
Yeah, the work got a lot of info on.
Doesn't have a.
The officer,
Bid.
officers.
We need our.
There's a little bit of stuff down here.
What do you mean?
There's a little bit of stuff.
Yes.
Anybody need a Shenandoah? I have bids and officers? I don't have a Shenandoah.
Coming up, one for you, one for Stu. Speaking directions, more than anything, but it's called. Who else? Does everybody have? No, we need one more. What do you need?
Yes.
Okay, coming up.
Yeah, well,
Okay, does everyone have,
Right there.
does everyone have, we got two agendas and Shenandoah? Yes. All good? Alright, now let's go for it.
Okay. I guess we'll start with the bids first. This is the committee for bids. In front of you, you have a proposal from Shenandoah to dredge the South Canal. And the gentleman that's here is, once we have a motion and a second, we'll answer whatever questions you have.
I motion we accept the proposal.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion was made by Richard, seconded by Patricia Caputo. Go, you're on.
That was gonna be my recommendation. I mean, they're a reputable firm. We done a lot of work with them. They've obviously been here. You guys have established rapport, so. The bid itself was comparative to what we had initially from H&J, so.
Alright, so Kyle, do you think this number is in line with comparable numbers?
Yes,
Alright, good.
if you recall, H&J was at 750,000 with a with a contingency of from up to 825, 10%.
Alright, does this proposal meet your RFP specifications?
It does.
That's not.
We went back and forth. The only unknown that I don't have, and maybe you discussed it with Rosen, I left no voicemail this morning, was more than a better idea on his timing for mobilization.
Yeah, this morning Kyle asked this contractor, Shenandoah, what his mobilization timeframe is. I heard from Rob, so he's ready to mobilize immediately. So we'll get that in an email.
And then I imagine they'll move, weather permitting, they'll move very fast.
Alright, committee, I apologize for not getting this out to you earlier, but it literally came in yesterday. So being as our engineer project manager approves this, by all means, read. You don't ask me any questions you have, but I think you can be pretty confident moving this proposal.
Well, it's fun for us to move forward.
Yeah, we gotta move on this. Does anybody have anything? Be general, be specific?
For those of you that were not here at the last bids and infrastructure meeting, we did not have a quorum. We did, but we didn't have a quorum. And we did have a second proposal. At that point, the officers asked for a second proposal or the first proposal, and we never got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you're only looking at one proposal.
When we're dealing with sole source, which is a term that we have going on here, it's most important that our professional approve it. Because we're basically trusting him that this is the right way to go. All right, guys?
No surprises, that's the final.
No.
There are old surprises.
Well, you know,
That's what I was still project on. We'll deal with it as they come.
and we'll get started right away.
This is what we're hearing. But we're pushing this along. We want to get moving on,
I know that.
all right?
Mhm.
Not included in this proposal is the fence, which will have to be put in after the work is done. It would have made no sense to put it to the fence before the team shovel. We have a T and M proposal for the budget fence, about 100 feet. So that's gonna be additional. Also gonna look into doing some landscaping along portions of the road.
You have vendors for both of that?
So again,
You have vendors lining up for that?
we have vendor lined up for the fence and I have nothing yet for the landscaping, and that's because frankly, I didn't expect to have any money left, but it looks like we might.
Is it for aesthetics or for,
I would say aesthetics and, yeah, there's other benefits to having landscaping.
Where's the fence?
Our issue, the entire south side of the canal from one end to the other. It's gonna be a T and M because some of those sections are pristine, they can be preserved,
Yeah.
some of them just need repair, and some of them need wreck out and replace. So this isn't something for prettiness, we just wanna
Yeah,
get
I understand.
functional. Right?
How does this number meet with what we budgeted for?
Well,
Well,
and what we're talking about when we say well under is we have essentially an escrow account with the developers of Reflection Bay. It's $1.5 million.
Right.
And that's basically our budget. So I think we'll be fine in that regard, unless we, I don't know what, find an Indian burial ground or something.
David, you have a question? Hold on.
Al, you should know this better than we do. What is the approximate cost for permits for a job of this size?
well, this is maintenance. We don't have you permitting. They're saying this is all within your parameter, so there is no
No
permit.
permits. Wonderful, that's good.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, Richard.
but
Can I add the 3 lines from the bottom? Engineering, testing and bonds, will they? Nothing, okay, good. Fine.
And Don, I don't know if you want to, before you send this over executed, if you want to make a note in here. Just to, with regard to mobilization to be within whatever time frame you agree to, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and next week. If you want to add that
No,
caveat in there.
Hi, Frank.
Yep.
We'll get that on the final version.
And I don't know that you necessarily need anything on the back end, but just to get them out here mobilized, because who knows how long it could take them with weather this time of
Is
year.
there a payment schedule built into this?
I didn't see it.
It was not scheduled, I don't believe.
Alright, so let's
That's another thing.
let's also work in a payment schedule.
They're gonna probably want a percentage up front to mobilize,
Right.
and then something in the middle, and
And
then,
then set 2 milestones for.
yeah, and I would
And
be,
you're gonna approve the progress payments.
yeah, and
Payment, there's payment, within 30 days, payment terms is net 30. If we encounter insurance fees requirements, this fee will be invoiced in addition to the income rates.
I don't think this is a 30-day project.
No.
I'm just saying,
It's,
I think what it is, once we sign the contract, from the time that it's finished, they're giving us 30 days to pay.
If they're finished.
So that's
If they're finished, not until they're finished.
oh, yeah.
yeah, you're gonna send those invoices my way. Okay.
absolutely.
That's your payment.
How long will it take them to do it?
We don't know.
He said 2 to 3 weeks,
Oh, okay,
but once again,
possibly. Yeah, depending on weather, of course.
Yes.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
A motion by Richard Handelsman, second by Christopher Hood, to accept the proposal from Shenandoah for the work to be done at the South Canal. I'm not gonna put a figure into it because it's not gonna be exactly that. Dennis Burrows,
Yes.
Maureen DeBeer.
Yes.
Richard Handelsman.
Yes.
Lou Harris,
Yes.
Ron Timmerman,
Yes.
Duke Horton just came home from. Just went home today. He was released from the rehab center, so he's on his way to recover. All right. Joanne Robinson,
Yes.
Cody Burrows,
Yes.
Dave Boas is a yes. Jerry Sutowski,
Is a yes.
Bruce Stutzman,
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Patricia Caputo,
Yes.
Fausto Fabro,
Yes.
narrowly approved, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee. Next stop for this proposal will be tomorrow's executive board meeting, followed by final approval by the delegate assembly on the 11th. So thank you for that. I'm gonna move on fast.
Yes.
First, let's say goodbye to Kyle.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, this,
Have a good day.
yes, you too. All right, this next proposal is from federal maintenance. This is from ongoing paving and, storm drain catch basin repairs. If you look at page 2, we're looking at federal maintenance agreement 1.
We don't have that. We don't have that.
Sorry, let's get that out. You want to file too?
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if that
No, you can.
So what are you doing?
if you are to that south fencing and then landscaping.
Yeah,
I got one. Remember, we got, you got.
Guys, one meeting, please.
I read a question about the previous.
Couldn't the beautification committee be reinstated and
That will very likely be the case.
both the. Cause I called for that a long time ago.
Well, there'll be some time before we get to that.
It's out there. It's out of the. That's committee. It's no debate. I wanted the officer.
Right.
We're in bids.
All right, so it's still in bids. This is ongoing repairs to paving, walkways, and catch basin. If you look at page 2, most of the work in this batch is replacement of catch basins. This is where the stormwater goes in the middle of the street. Over time, these catch basins sink and they become depressions. And I basically stage them. I don't put them on the list until I hit them and fly like Evel Knievel. When that happens, then I put it on the list. So I don't have pictures for you today, but if you look at Bedford F, Walter I, Walter Miami, no, sorry. East Hampton A, Kent I, Wellington L, and also Wellington L. These are catch basins that just need to be lifted. That means they bust up the asphalt, take it away, they put in a concrete collar to bring the catch basin to just lower than grade, and then reinstall the asphalt. We've seen that at the last half of the repairs. And this is the same price, $36.50. And the rest are just standard asphalt repairs, potholes, cracks. There's one of note, and I want to get on the record, which is the walkway between Hastings A and Dorchester K. The reason I'm signaling this out is because it's a tripping hazard. So we want to get it on the books that we're addressing tripping hazards. What makes this particular repair a little tricky is no surprise, Yuko doesn't own that piece of ground. That stretch is an old roadway easement, an ancient roadway easement, which we're gonna address probably next year as another the next of our loose ends. But we do maintain the walkway, and I expect if somebody took a header on it, we'd be eating the claim. So there's a piece there that I want repaved and raised up a little bit. But, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, 575 a square foot. For the repairs and 3650 each for the catch basin repairs for a total of $16,642. I entertain a motion to accept for purpose of discussion.
So move.
Second, so moved by Stutzman, seconded by Dennis. And we are now in discussion. Happy to answer any questions. Say again?
The costs that are not included,
Yeah, you got standard boilerplate there.
is a standard. Next in asphalt, this isn't that what you're fixing,
Yes.
and what happens if it cracks after they fix it? There's no guarantee,
Is there a warranty?
no.
Not expressly, no. We're living in a place where roofs never stop. We have done multiple repairs on the same spots even after we did roof trimming. We're all living on the original Florida swamp.
That's a question.
But no, it's a good question. But yeah, we really can't play with any group.
Yes, David,
Do you want to explain to the, especially to the new committee members and
Yeah.
also guests, why we have changed to this vendor the last several projects?
Yeah, guys, since I've been here, we've pretty much decided, at one point, we were bidding out every one of these batches of repairs. Which is time consuming and not particularly fruitful. So the consensus what has been for some years now is once or twice a year, we bid out the work. And we settle on a vendor that's doing a good job for us and not beating us up. Our previous vendor, Sunshine, we parted company with them because very frankly, myself and also some members of this committee were not happy with the quality of the work. There were callbacks, there were issues with the aggregate decomposing and becoming a mess, and I personally wasn't happy with the quality of the work. It didn't look right. So we moved on to Federal. This last batch that they did, the work was very good.
Yes.
It was noticeably different. And we worked with this company before. I don't remember why we moved on to, at the time, it was Ronnie's company.
yeah,
But nah, it was the same fellows, and I gotta say that they did a good job the last time. I'm okay with this. I'm glad to have them back.
yes, John,
How many projects has Federal done for us so far?
Many. This is very recently. This is the second batch of repairs that they've done. You approved the last batch. Before that,
20 projects at least.
more. They worked for us for a long time.
The
The
job,
same pricing as it was before, so.
No,
the job, okay,
I'm sorry, so let me do a little first.
Sure.
Pricing is in line. Obviously, things have gone up since the last time we've done business with them, but they're certainly comparable to the previous guy that we kicked to the curb. Yes, sir.
okay, so obviously they're not responsible for trips, falls, or anybody, gets slippery, and blah, 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 so we're gonna corner off whatever we're doing really well.
Yeah, that's called MOT, maintenance of traffic, and that is in their contract. They're responsible for that. They'd be stupid to do otherwise.
It says here otherwise, it said if somebody should slip. Or those are injuries, they're not responsible. Not why I'm asking you, so who's gonna take extra precautions to make sure that it's one off?
It's on certain jobs, and in this case, the job would be the catch basins.
Mhm.
Typically, I call security and say there's traffic control or something.
Okay,
she's right, it says right here.
yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
I'm blind, but I've seen.
Well, it's like it's standing right in your face. MOT.
So you're like, oh, yeah, there it is. Okay,
But yeah, we've never had a problem with
I
that.
just wanna make sure, cause people here are defiant and.
Hey, listen, if they wanna drive into wet asphalt, get that in their tires.
You know what,
It happens.
I know it does, I know it does.
Any other question? Hearing none? Could we have a roll call vote, please, David?
Yes. Motion by Bruce Stutzman, second by Dennis Burrows to accept the proposal from Federal Paving. Dennis Burrows,
Yes.
Maureen Delaguerre.
Yes.
Chris Campbell,
Yes.
Lou Harris,
Yes.
John Cameron,
Yes.
Joanne Robinson,
Yes.
Tony Burrows.
Yes.
David Lois is a yes. Jerry Sutowski,
Yeah, he said yes to all three.
there's Stutzman. Of course. Me, Lewis, Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Patricia Caputo,
Yes.
Dr. Favreau.
Yes,
Another close vote,
All right,
motion carries.
David, since we're still in bids, are there any issues you'd like to talk to the committee about? And when you're done, I've got a couple of updates for you.
I have nothing voting wise, but if you wanna bring us up to date on. Quickly on some issues, that's fine with me.
Quickly and very happily. All right, the South Canal. You've just approved the vendor. So you pretty much know the story with that. We're gonna move forward with that. North Canal, everything falls together at once. Thanks to our treasurer, who put a lot of time into this. Yuko now owns the canal.
Good job, Joanne.
Paid a lot,
years.
she paid a lot of money for it, but
For less than $800.
yes,
No, she did. Actually, it was.
it was a zero. We got it to zero.
It was free.
All right, so
That's a good thing.
so at the risk of jinxing us and in anticipation of really owning those parcels, I went ahead and got a hold of Derek Shenavar, who back in 2018 created a set of plans for the refurbishment of that canal. And I met with him this morning. He did an in-depth site survey, took a lot of pictures. He's gonna tune up the existing plans. And bring that to us. And I'm gonna recommend that we hire Derek to create the new plans for us, create the RFP, the scope of work, and be the project manager for that job. This job is gonna be a little bit more complicated than South for two main reasons. Reason number one is at the western terminus of that canal is where we receive our reclaimed water. When we got that reclaimed water back in 2006, there was not insufficient engineering for that project. That canal is not really a canal. The real name for it is a stormwater retention ditch. It's never made to move water horizontally like the Panama Canal, right? But it's not a river. But that's how we've been using it, and that's what contributed to the filling in of the canal. So part of this job is gonna be to create a structure at the western end that will handle the water as it comes in, tame it to some extent, so that when it finally hits the canal, it doesn't erode it or doesn't silk it out. So that's real construction work, so I expect that's gonna be a little pricey. The second issue is the footbridge. And I'm talking about the footbridge to the synagogue. That existing bridge is gonna have to be wrecked out. It's not rebuildable. They told me straight off the bat. What I've instructed this vendor to do is to create a sub-plan for the replacement of that bridge with its and its own RFP, its own scope of work, and ultimately its own price tag, right? Its own proposal. At that point, the Youth Officers Committee is going to have to go into negotiation with the synagogue. Very frankly, I don't see our board of directors and delegate assembly supporting all unit owners to pay every penny of that bridge that perhaps serves 35 or 40 people 4 months a year. It's Yuko's position that we want the bridge to be replaced. It's been a part of the community for many, since the 60s or 70s. But there's a negotiation there about who pays for the bridge. I think personally, as a unit owner, same as you, I think that the synagogue should pay for the bridge. There'd be some kind of easement agreement that we provide to them since we own that parcel, and with an agreement for ongoing maintenance of the bridge.
Good.
So I think there's a negotiation here, I think there's a settlement here. But that's how I just said, let's just make this a separate part. And once we get all the numbers, then we'll call in the board of the synagogue and we'll all sit and we'll talk. I think this is work out.
For those of you that don't know, that bridge was originally put up by the developer with no permits. So
It
there-
wasn't,
it's something that should not exist, but it does exist.
But it's on our property.
It's on.
Now it is.
Now it's
Now it
on.
is, yeah.
that. So,
it's very simple.
So we can say, do they pay for it or they don't get no bridge?
exactly.
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
walk around.
Like I said, I
Save
think
money,
there's
have
a,
a longer walk.
Hold on.
I think
Yes, David.
Let's not jump the gun on it.
Yeah.
Because
But
first
they're
of
they're
all,
negotiable, correct?
excuse me,
I'm sorry, David. I apologize.
excuse me. Let's not jump the gun on this.
Yeah.
We may not be able to even facilitate it.
Right.
right. Because while as Kyle said, dredging of the canal is maintenance. And not requiring a permit, building of a bridge is,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
I mean, even the Brooklyn Bridge, I'm sure you always get permit for.
absolutely.
So I'm just letting you guys know what's on the horizon. It's gonna be the next few months. But I definitely think this is a problem that can be worked out. All right? Yes,
I'm going back to the North Canal for
North
one
Canal.
second.
Yeah.
The North Canal.
being that you live in it, what's it?
Don't live in it, but I live by it. Well, many questions from residents. Will the fence be replaced eventually?
Just like South Canal, yes. That fence will be repaired and replaced along its whole length. So by you, it's pretty much wrecked out. It's gonna be a new fence. I know there's been some concern about people walking into the property from over there, and it's not the case.
No,
No,
who's over there?
exactly. It's near impossible for anyone to get on that property that's north of us to get into the community, but people have.
But they have
In
more
Okay.
money.
yeah,
It's more.
Because I'm right, yeah.
Yeah.
I need.
but by you,
Even so, you gotta go.
in two particular cases where people said there's a guy walking into the village, he was a village resident, you know.
Mhm.
People see him and say, oh my God, we're being paid. So,
Anything else for the bridge committee?
Thank you.
One other thing,
Yes, David.
on the horizon is the refurbishing of the Plymouth Laundry.
Yeah.
We have solicited bids on it.
Mhm.
It is in the maintenance budget, but still it's on the horizon. Just to let you know, that might be the next major project to come out.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
and long overdue. That's all I got. David, if you wanna return the bids and we could just pick up.
Motion to adjourn. I'll motion it.
Second, John.
We go.
Okay.
Thank you, Craig.
All right.
Feel free to stay for the rest.
You're welcome to stay for the second part of this.
This is the Fausto show.
Yeah, yes. Okay, we're now into the officers committee.
I think we are close to the board.
There's no one, where's this one?
Let's do it anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get them.
Yeah.
No, just, you get that one.
Can I stay?
Yes,
Yes.
anybody.
That's first year.
It's on the proprietary stuff.
I heard really clashes with your.
Alright. We'll start off, I know, Tony, we have a quorum of the officers. Exactly. Okay. Please take a quick brief look at the minutes that were part of the agenda sheet. I know everybody looked at them and they're all set, ready to go. So I'll accept the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Make a motion, accept it.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, minutes will be accepted as presented. Treasurer's report.
I think Donald kind of covered it in the bid portion as far as what I've been involved in lately. But I got.
Sure.
I I spoke to PBSO, who actually conducted the sale of the North Canal parcels. There were 6 parcels. We won the bid, and as of today, the titles are being sent to our attorney for filing. So that will be the final piece of that. Once they're actually filed, we will be in possession officially after 50 years of the place where our water goes. So, for all of the village, because of course, this was done by the Coulter Homes by the Reflection Bay Agreement that was signed last year. So we now have total drainage ownership, which we did not have all these years. So it's just a, that's it for me. But I'm waiting for the other piece of my treasurer's report for the officers is that Donald and I have been going back and forth with reserve study people, because we have this enormous thing, it's an over 100-page long reserve study that has many questions, and I've canceled the last couple of finance meetings because I cannot present this until I actually understand it and that it makes sense for me to present. So it's very detailed, and we're working very hard to get that so that we really understand the results. So that's it.
You're talking about the reserve study. I was with Derek today, the engineer, and some of you may remember Derek's suggestion that interdisciplinary study be done.
Yeah.
I said, we're gonna make sure you get a copy of it. You're actually responding, your suggestion that should work out the inside.
Yeah. No, I'm very impressed with the product. It is really a way to look at how we should be in the next 30 years planning out the village. If we want to make changes to it, but it's no more a bunch of people sitting in a room going, I think it's gonna cost this much to make it. It's very professional. So I'm very happy. Once I get that published, I'll be very, very proud that we all as a group have participated in getting this done. But that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, especially the officers. So at this point, I'm going to go to Donald for his manager's report.
All right, guys, I pretty much given you my report. The South Canal, North Canal was it. Also, you wanna just launch into the security contract?
Did the officers, you already voted on the South Canal project being moving forward. Do you want me to take a second vote on it, or are you happy with having voted once?
Okay with it.
Okay.
That's sufficient.
This is for the officers.
Yeah, we're.
Because that's why,
Same vote, same vote.
it's the same vote. Nobody's gonna change their vote, right?
No.
Of the officers. Okay, good to go. All right. So,
No?
go ahead.
Pardon me?
Go ahead, Donald.
You want me to go with security?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, good. Alright, committee and officers before you, and this is an officer's matter because you've done your job on this already. Your job is done. You have the final version of the security contract between Summerwood Security Services and Utah. Just to give you some background, the bids committee combined with the security committee and officers committee started with 4 vendors, one of which was our incumbent Platinum Group Security. It was narrowed down to 2, then narrowed down to 1, San Moritz. Then we went into contract negotiation phase. And that's what you have in front of you. That was a very involved process for 2 reasons. Number one, UCO hired specialized counsel, special attorney, just to get the terms of this contract exactly right. This was a lawyer in a firm that specialized in security contracts. Not to mention, this is a $1.3 million contract. Life safety is also involved. So there was quite a bit of back and forth on terms. The second vetting for this contract was our insurance agent, who was very specific and wrote the parts of the RFP that involve insurance, the coverage. And very frankly, the reason the incumbent was knocked out of consideration was they had multiple opportunities to meet the specifications of insurance in the RFP. So it's made the decision pretty easy. I can tell you that this final version has been approved for signing and approval by our attorney and by our insurance agent, and that's what I'm very concerned about. There's also language in here that makes the RFP, which was created by me and by the previous security committee committees, as the final arbiter of the contract. So everything relies on the RFP that we created that tells us what our requirements are for this somewhat unique community. The post orders, which are basically the instruction booklets for the vendor on security, were also linked to the contract. And they were refined to some extent as well. So I'm confident to recommend this contract to you, and I would entertain a motion for its acceptance.
I'll motion to accept.
Okay, David Boaz. Second,
I second it.
and Joanne second. Tony, did you write that down? I did. No, thank you.
A lot of fine print here, guys, so do take it home and read it. And by the way, if anybody finds anything in this contract that they have questions about, this is not a done deal. Because once you guys are done with it, it's gonna go to executive board tomorrow, and then it's gonna go to delegate assembly. So. Be reading it, I don't care what the question is, there is no stupid question.
I just want to say one thing, Donald.
Yep.
That the incumbent, Donald said we gave him enough chances. He was told over 8 months ago. Verbally, in writing, and 2 weeks ago, they came back and requested a second shot at getting the contract. And even though we felt that we had exhausted everything, Donald sent him an email and said, go ahead, correct the corrections that you were deficient on the RFP. And they came back with the same exact paperwork. So we gave the incumbent 7 months, 8 months to do it, and they chose not to.
Previous to that, we asked before we even
Yes.
went to the bidding out process.
Well, that's what started it.
Over and over again, and getting a love, then we decided to bid out the contract.
And I think it should be noted that that last iteration was passed by our attorney, our specialized attorney, and our insurance agent. And it still was not in compliance, which was why this whole thing started. It's got nothing to do with, we don't like this one or that one. This is because the current contract with the incumbent did not meet the specifications that we need for our insurance. We have to protect ourselves financially. So just as a treasurer, I feel like I have to make that very clear. Because there's a lot of rumors that fly around. People are always going, wow, why are they doing this or that? We're doing this for financial reasons. It's very clear that we have got to protect ourselves.
And if this incumbent vendor had met our new specifications.
Right.
We would not be sitting here right now.
Correct.
Voting on a
We
new.
spent a lot of money trying to get them to do that by passing it through over and over. Our attorneys, our insurance agent, I mean, they aren't doing it, so.
St. Louis was willing, they did it.
Yes,
When the
Yes,
attorneys said they
absolutely.
needed more, they did it, they let the qualifications.
Yes, Maureen?
Is this the current vendor we have now for security?
No,
This is
no,
this is
the current vendor, yes.
There to, so it's way,
What we were talking about the current vendor not meeting.
Yes.
yeah.
This is right, that is that. Yeah.
We've given them every opportunity to comply.
I got that.
Yes, David?
Now, with that, were they,
Okay.
Yes, David.
Everybody in here, please don't take this to WPRF or anything of it. Their contract is separate. We don't know who they're going to. So that's a separate contract. This is just a contract for the UCO part of it.
that was my question.
Yeah, but what WPRF has been made aware 2 weeks ago that we will be changing vendors.
Mhm.
And we did notify Eva, and then she has to do what she has to do, but I don't think she's gonna do anything until the delegates pass this. That we know that this is going to be our vendor. It has to pass the officers today, tomorrow, executive board, and then it has to go by the delegate assembly on the 11th.
Are
Yes,
both contracts up at the same time, WPA?
no.
Two separate times.
It's
Is
just-
this a 30-day out?
I believe it's
60 days.
60 days, yes. All right, any other questions on the security contract?
Bruce, there is mutual outcomes. Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
So,
This,
yeah, hold on. Go ahead, Richard.
But just a question, is there anything in this contract that if there are two separate security providers within Century Village, that they will coordinate with each other?
No,
No,
No.
no, because we don't.
what I just said, this is the.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
But-
there might be a.
No.
She's not gonna have a different vendor. She will negotiate to do this. She's very happy that we would work together with two different contracts, but the same vendor.
Richard, at one time, there were parts of the clubhouse security function and the Yuko that kind of intersected. Over time, and I say this me particularly, I've basically cut all of that. These are two completely separate functions that have little or no interaction with each other.
Just have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of new to me, these contracts. Has anybody researched this company and
Sure.
how many communities they do?
Yeah,
And
of course, they were vetted, like we said, there was four vendors. And the committee, which is the Bids and Infrastructure and Security Committee, went through their process, their background. They came in, they each gave a presentation, they narrowed it down to two. Those two came in and made a second presentation, and based on that, it was narrowed down to the one vendor.
But they have communities in
Oh, yeah.
Florida that.
Yeah,
This is a very professional company.
On a two meeting,
Yeah, I agree.
the committee had the opportunity to essentially interview the
Oh, okay. Good.
You weren't part of that committee.
No, I know, man.
But their bona fides were checked, they worked in other communities and they're a reputable company.
That's a good question and we have answered that.
All right, so hearing none, could you please do a roll call of the office?
Joanne? Yes.
Tony is a yes, David,
Yeah.
Jerry is a yes by phone, Bruce,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yes.
Fausto,
Yes,
motion carried.
okay.
All right, David, committee, can I ask if you please hand me back these security contracts? And the reason I'm asking is I want to use them tomorrow at the executive. Take a planet and all that.
Yes, it's
Yes.
I'll just keep for
This is security.
Or am I? We go.
That's what I was saying more than that.
The next item, we had the proposal for the paving. And again, it was approved by the bids, all the officers vote on it. Do you wish to take a second vote on the paving proposal, or will you accept that you voted that one time? Good for both.
Well, I'm not sure.
Hold on.
No controversy, just take another vote.
Okay, all right,
Not gonna say.
so please, that's fine.
Okay,
All right,
Okay.
Joanne,
Yes.
Tony's a yes, David,
Yes.
Jerry's a yes by phone, Bruce,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Patricia,
Yeah.
Fausto,
who made the motion and who seconded?
Yeah,
I made the motion for the paving.
I'll second it. All
Okay,
right.
so please put that in the minutes, who made the motion and who seconded? So we, and then I'll take my.
Second by Patricia. Okay. Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, I'm a yes,
Okay,
okay,
motion carried.
very good. So the last thing that I have, well, before, yes,
I'll also make a motion for the canal.
okay.
That's what I said, we didn't do that, so we can't do one without the
Well,
other.
the officers accepted that they voted on the canal the first time, they said there was, you stepped out of the room. They accepted that one vote count for both,
Okay.
Okay.
for a matter of experience. I asked if anybody would change their vote, they said no. Okay, You go report before I go to my last thing.
Very short report. The paper will be out tomorrow. And you'll get it over the weekend. I'm working on August now.
It's online as.
One other thing, copy closes on the 11th of July. That happens to be the day that we have the delegate. So you have to work a little tighter this month and get your reports in the 11th.
You have mine, right?
Not for August, no.
Okay,
Okay, that's it.
all right. Under new business for the officers. We have been, kind of like doing a lot of barcodes and updates. And having done some research and Donald's doing some research. And speaking to some of our volunteers here. I would like the officers to consider, as of January 1st, 2026. Making the barcodes $10 for residents, unit owners, and $20 for people that are renters or occupants. Now, we have some precedent, people that use the ABDI system in most places, we are the cheapest. Most places charge $15 for unit owners and $20 or $25 for everybody else.
Okay.
That's what the other community that I work in downtown, they charge 25 for non-owners and 10 for
Okay.
Yeah, so we're pretty much the only one that has gone that way that I could find.
So speaking to some of the volunteers, 80 to 90% of the issues that we have with people giving us a hard time is with those people that are non-unit owners.
That's true.
You know, they come in, they don't understand about their IDs, they don't understand why they can't update it because their contract is up like in 2 days and they figured that if they come in, they'll still be able to come in. So I'm not gonna ask you to vote on it today as far as officers is concerned, but I'm gonna bring it up next month. And I think we should really consider it. I mean, I still think the barcodes and the maintenance hasn't really increased that much over the last 4 years. We're in the cost of between $8.50 and $9 per barcode between what it costs and what it costs to maintain the system. It's more the aggravation that we have with the people coming in
And time.
and the time. And the time. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so, I know ABDI, there's not too much of a choice, but is there another company that's what ABI did? Because a lot of people come in and say, what's it, it doesn't work there, and it's not our barcodes.
In some
It's the
cases,
system.
the problems that are coming in are based in problems with ABDI.
Correct.
In many cases, the problem is our hardware, which is constantly being repaired. The stuff takes a beating out there, particularly the barcode readers. So it's a mixed bag of what's causing.
So you really don't have, it's not really ABDI that takes priority over bid.
In some cases, it's not a no, but as far as your first question, which is, are there other systems out there? Yes, there are. Some of the proposals for a security contract had a different system,
I remember that.
right? Remember,
I remember a lot, yes, I do.
and you also know that ABDI was purchased by another company
We know
who
that
has
too.
their own system, so we're getting change coming down the pipe, whether we like it or not. But I can tell you that as antiquated as ABDI is, and it is,
I know.
it is the standard for South Florida condominium and HOA communities, which means almost everyone who comes to work for us here, let's say security guards, they work someplace else. So it just makes it's easy to get them online. So it is that.
What about the barcode papers that we always have problems with the actual barcode?
The barcode themselves come from a sole source vendor called BAI in Orlando. There was a change in the stock that the thing is printed on. It's not as good.
Right.
They don't last as long.
Yeah.
I don't see any, we used to have the transponder system. And it was for the same reason, we were having trouble with it, and then we're not, after a few years, we just said, all right, that's.
All right, the reason I'm bringing it up is, it doesn't really, when people want to be paying $20, which I don't think is excessive. And if that barcode goes bad within the year, or a year and a half, they're gonna be pretty angry. Because they pay a lot more money. No, that's not a long period of time.
I hear what you're saying,
Years
and
and
if you guys wanted to.
You understand what I'm
I
saying?
hear what you're saying, if you guys wanted to set a warranty, 6 months, a year, you could do whatever you want. However, I can tell you that some of the factors that make the barcode fail are things that are out of our control.
Yeah.
50% of
Like the car wash.
some people go to the car wash every day, some people don't. 50% of the cars are facing east, facing dead west, and the sun is the worst killer of those things. So.
Yeah.
You're not expected to work forever.
All right, questions asked, questions answered, thank you very much.
But if the officers agree that we start this in January 1st, because we need enough time to let everybody know, but the new system, we can, if you want to institute that if anything, any failure within 6 months, they will replace free of charge, and then after that,
Okay.
yes, Don.
I don't know what to say about this one, but I think it's gonna create a lot of problems in the beginning. We may lose money, which is fine,
Oh, no.
but in time, but my thing is, we gotta get the word out as fast as possible. This is gonna take place. More than the TV, more than the newspaper, more than the delegate assembly, because there are people that, I would say 70% of the tenants don't even know anything about a barcode.
I know,
Now we're gonna hit them up with $20.
so they have no choice. They don't have to let.
No, I know. So we prepared at the gate to have a longer line going through.
That's not our issue.
Look, occasionally Dunkin' Donuts raises their prices on the jelly
That's
donuts.
right, look how.
And believe me, I know where that is.
Walmart that.
When I walk in, my choice is buck up for the jelly donut new price or not have the jelly donut.
I'm just saying,
I think we all know what.
It's gonna get, we know how they are at that desk over there. And you think, I can handle it, but I'm just saying that line's gonna get super long out there going through that gate.
Again, it's not our issue.
No, it is.
Our issue is, I mean, you may have to put up with it for a little bit. But it's like when we went from $5 to $10, I mean, just think for like 3 years, we were selling $8 barcodes for $5.
Yeah.
We lost money for 36 months, and it wasn't.
No, I'm all for an increase, it's just we have to
I-
be prepared for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't wanna do this in November. I wanna, if the decision is made in July or August officers meeting, that this is what we're going to do, we're gonna have 5 months to let everybody know.
I mean,
And you know what, it does have the potential to shorten the line, because another round of people are gonna be aware of what they need to do to stay out of that long line.
So it's all about education, and again, like I said,
yeah, I tried to educate them, you
I know.
all the way, so.
and you do a hell of a job, John. You have a lot of patience with some of these.
Just buy me a pair of boxing gloves. But if you wanna get ugly.
Again, I'm not gonna ask you for a vote, I'm just bringing it to the officers so you can chew on it. And if you have any questions, Irene is here, John is here, they work that barcode desk, if you have any questions on how they get treated, I just ask them.
Or sit at the front.
Yes,
desk
Don.
and-
Donald,
Just 2 cents out of Donald for what it's worth. United Civic Organization represents the unit owners of Century Building. It's us, that's what we work for. Rental tenants are a reality, we have in here, but we're not here primarily to serve their interests, it's to serve the unit owners' interests. Given the amount of time that I see these tenants taking out of this place, never mind, we don't pay you anything, but if we did, time is money. So we have to treat that time just as we would if we were paid salary out for this. That's just what I think. Personally, I don't think we should be even giving them barcodes to tenants. I think their landlords should be prepared for them.
Exactly.
But given the number of people we're dealing with, it just wouldn't be practical. So we're working with the community we have.
Trying to get landlords to talk to the tenants is another story altogether.
Yes,
You say that, and just yesterday, we had a tenant come in wild over the $10 he felt his landlord should pay. Take it up with.
By all means.
That's it.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
so, and for those of you that are not aware, I keep track of how many updates and how many barcodes we do. In the first 5 months of the year 2025, approximately a quarter of the village has come into that barcode. Not including what we do in insurance, not talking to Joanne or investigation. We have a little over 3,200 people coming at that front desk. Just for updates and barcodes and gate passes. Yes, Joe.
Just another thing with this implementing this whole thing is gonna be also. I guarantee you there'll be theft with barcodes. People are going around stealing the barcodes, thinking they could peel it off and put it on their vehicle. I know, it only lasts a day on their vehicle, and when they buy a new vehicle, they're gonna have the dealership. Peel off that sticker and put it on the one, it'll last a day or two and then it'll fall
That's
off.
all it'll do.
That's all.
If that, with the new thing of stock. I don't even think it'll last one peel.
We bought our last car from Schumacher. And he came out, he says, "You want me to change this?" I said, "Yeah, if you can do it, go ahead." And 6 months later, I'm still using my original barcode.
Alright,
Good for you.
that's it.
Shut that John tomorrow, shut his barcode.
Said anything.
All right. Do any of the officers would like to give a report? Dan, Bruce, anything?
I'm good.
Okay, Tony,
I'm good.
Dan, Stuart,
Me too.
you too, David,
Yes.
Joanne, you said your piece, Patricia,
I'm good.
good to go. If there's is there any other business for the officers to discuss?
After my confession, I better get out of here.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, everyone. Good job. It could be like